Apple's 6th generation iPad was a great device when it came out in 2018 for casual users, students, and anyone who wanted to get stuff done without carrying a bulky laptop. With its A10 Fusion chip, support for Apple Pencil, and 10 hours of battery life, it was a great buy. But is it still worth it today? Let's find out together. Hi there guys, welcome to my iPad 6th Gen from 2018 review. So a disclaimer, this is my own personal iPad that I own for a year now. So I bought it for $200, which is pretty cheap even in today's standards. This is one of the best values that you can get in terms of it, not just iPads, any laptop or tablet computer. And I'm gonna tell you why. First of all, this iPad has been introduced in 2018 in March, and it costed $300 brand new. So even in those days, it was pretty cheap. And you get a really good build quality, you got a really great screen, and you got an Apple Pencil support. So this was excellent for students and for people that need light usage, and you can even have some Adobe Photoshop usage, or you can use it as a replacement for your laptop. So what are the specs? So basically this is an iPhone 7 in a tablet. You get an Apple A10 processor, which is a quad-core processor with a quad-core graphics processor inside. Which is pretty decent even in today's standards. So browsing the web or using it for gaming or any kind of newer game, you can definitely use it for every task that you need it. The only thing that I wouldn't recommend this iPad is for video rendering or something like that. So basically you got a 9.7 inch display, an IPS panel with 2048 by 1536 pixels per inch, and the display is an IPS panel which has got great viewing angles, and unfortunately only the blacks are not as good and as in an OLED panel, but for everyday people the screen is more than enough. The only problem with the screen is that it's not laminated. So basically you can see that there's a little tiny air gap from the glass and the screen, and for most people that's not a problem, but for people who notice, who have understanding in technology, and they will definitely see the difference between the newer iPads and the older gen. So this has got an 8827 milliamp battery, which will give you around 10 hours of battery life, which is 1 day, 2 days with light usage, even more depending on your usage. You got a Touch ID sensor. This is the first gen Apple ID sensor. As you see, it works fine. It's speedy, but it's not the second generation version, and you don't get any haptic feedback on the as you do on your iPhone 7, for example. The cameras are 1.2 megapixel front, which will give you 720p videos, or you have 8 megapixel back camera, which will give you 1080p videos with 30 frames per second. And you can even film 720p slow motion video with 240 frames per second. So I use this iPad every day as a laptop replacement. If you need some typing to do, if you need some documents that you need to manage, the screen is spacious. Previously I owned an iPad mini, and although it was great for gaming, I find that it's much better for typing on the bigger screen and watching content like Netflix or YouTube or Hulu or something like that. It's better on the larger screen, of course. The best thing about this iPad is that it's pretty usable and comfortable, so you can put it in your backpack, or you can put it you can go in a cafe, or you can go somewhere outside and you can get your work done. So the other thing is that with iOS 13.4 you get official keyboard and mouse support. So what does that mean? So that means basically that any iPad that supports iOS 13.4 will basically be as a laptop replacement. So today you don't have to buy a cheap laptop. I would recommend everybody to buy an iPad, a used iPad or a new iPad, because you can get much more work done on the iPad than on your laptop. First thing. The other thing is that for gaming, App Store is a pretty big ecosystem now. So you have pretty much any game, any app that you need for, you have all kinds of new gaming apps, all kinds of new. They got even Monument Valley 2 is free now on the App Store. So there's a lot of good stuff now happening. Fortnite, of course. And I'm gonna make a new video about gaming on this iPad on another video. So what are the ups and downs for this iPad? First of all, it's still a great value. It's an awesome value for the money, and it's got decent specs. It's got great battery life, and it's got an awesome build quality. But there are a couple of downsides also that you must see nowadays. The display is not laminated, so for people who do notice that would be a big downside. There are no stereo speakers here, so as you can see, the sound is coming just only from this speaker, not this one. I'm gonna show you right now. So you can hear the sound. It's okay, but it's not great.
Just 1 year following the release of Resident Evil 2, Capcom has returned once again with a new Resident Evil game based on a classic installment. Resident Evil 3 builds upon much of what made last year's...
As I said, it's okay, it's not perfect, but it's pretty decent. It's pretty, for every use it's more than enough. So there are no stereo speakers, and the cameras are pretty low quality by today's standards. So taking selfies or taking videos with your iPad, it's not recommended, but you shouldn't be doing that on your iPad anyway. The great thing is that it's got Apple Pencil support, and it supports the newest version of iOS, and it will be supported in years to come. But the important thing is, should you buy this iPad in 2020? I would say no. If you can afford it, you would be much better off if you buy an iPad Pro 1st gen or 2nd gen, if you find it used, or if you find this tablet for $200 or cheaper, then go for it, buy it. But even now, I would recommend an iPad mini, the newest generation of iPad mini 5, the 5th generation or 6th generation, what is it? It's a much better buy, because you get the laminated display, you got better speakers, you get the A12 processor, which is much better for gaming and all kinds of tasks. This is good enough for most people, but definitely hold off. If you can get the iPad Pro 1st gen or something instead of this, buy that. So thank you guys for watching. This is my review of the iPad 6th generation from 2018, and I still use it daily, and this is probably my last year that I will own this device, so next year I'm going on the iPad Pros. So thank you again for watching, and see ya, bye.